Hey there, my stamping friends. Susan here with Pumpkin Hill Stampers. I have a Stampin' Show and Tell for you today. We're going to be using the Joy of Christmas DSP, pairing it with Basic White and Pecan Pie for our colors. We're going to do a modified fold, and this one's pretty simple, so I'll take you through that step by step. And we're going to be using the Christmas Classics stamp set. So I received a similar card as a swap, and I thought, well, this is a really fun card layout. And it doesn't require any extra paper because we're just going to use what we normally would start with. So let me take you through how we create this card, and then you can leave me comments on whether you enjoyed it or not. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to start with a piece of 11 by 4 1/4. I scored it at 5 1/2, and what we're going to do is we're going to trim off 1.5 inches on one end. So I'm just going to go to 1.5 inches and give it a trim. Okay, then, so there's my front. Then I have an inside panel, which is 4 by 5 1/4, pretty normal size. This one I'm going to trim off 1 1/4. So I'm going to go in at 1 1/4 and trim that off. So my card was 4 1/4 wide, and my inside was 4 inches wide. And then I did 1 1/2 on the pecan pie, and I did 1 1/4 on the white. So if you've been making cards as long as I have, you know those are perfect layers for a sentiment. And that's exactly what we're going to do when we get there. Okay, so you're going to take your card base. It's already scored. You're just going to fold over the short flap and give it a crease with your bone folder. Okay, now I have already cut a piece of DSP. This is, double check it, I believe it is 4 by 3 3/4. Okay, so this is going to layer right on the front, like so. So let me just go ahead and get my adhesive, and we'll start layering these panels on, because this one's really kind of quick and easy. So I'm just going to add, it's been a couple days, add a little bit of adhesive, maybe. Now that's just being stubborn. Let's try a different one. There we go. This one feels nice and full. I hate it when I start a video and then I just can't get that adhesive to come out. There we go. Alright. So we're going to put our panel on. This is kind of a non-directional panel, so that's okay. Just layer that on. And then I'm going to take my inside piece and put this on next. Okay. So this is the one I trimmed off. Now if you want to stamp your sentiment first on the inside and then put it down, that way you've got 2 attempts at stamping that without a rock and roll or a smudge or anything, you can do that. Or if you're pretty confident, just go ahead and put it in, and then you can add your sentiment or a note later on. Then I'm going to use, this is like music staff paper in the pecan pie, so I'm using that as my inside coordinated panel, and this is just going to go on the end of the white and just in slightly to have a little bit of framing. Okay. So, 2 pieces for the inside, piece for the front, and see how the piece overlaps. So the size is crossover, so there's no like white blaring at you. Okay, so from there we've got these 2 pieces we trimmed off, and like I said, they make a perfect sentiment layer. So let's go ahead and stamp. I'm going to stamp in Real Red, and I've got the Season's Greetings from the Christmas Classics stamp set. So it's a nice long greeting. And I'm going to stamp that in the center. And then I've got this little embellishment, this little corner flare, and I'm just going to add that to the bottom and then to the opposite top, just to give a little bit of stamped embellishment. Okay, so this is not going to go right on there. Now, I am going to do some die cutting with coordinating dies, so before I put that on, let me talk you through those. Okay, so first thing I did was I cut some shaded spruce sprigs. So we've got these 2 dies here, so I just used some scrap of shaded spruce and cut some sprigs. I'm going to use 2 sprigs on my card. Then I stamped and die cut already this other kind of like, it's kind of like a branch, right? Now if you wanted to save on paper, you could take this piece of paper that you're going to make into your tag, you could stamp this on there and then cut it out, okay? And then your sentiment would cover over that cutout. So if you want to reserve some paper, you can do that. Otherwise, just go ahead and stamp on a piece of scrap coordinating paper, and you're good to go. Okay, so I have those pieces. And then I also going to bring in a little bit of red. So I've got this red ribbon. I'm going to use about 4 inches. We're just going to make a little loop of an embellishment on our card just to give it a little bright color. Okay, so now let me go ahead and put my panels down. I picked up the wrong one, look at that. Alright, so first I'm going to put my sentiment down, just like that. And let that adhere. While that's working, I'm going to bring in my glue dots. Now, I really like working with glue dots when I'm working with small embellishments. So it's kind of like making your own stickers. So you can add a couple of glue dots to the back of that sprig, and I'm just going to put that in, pointing to the corner. Then I'm going to take my ribbon, and I'm going to put a glue dot on one end, and then I'm going to make a loop. So one end, and then I'm just going to make a loop. Just put the two ends together, and then I'll put another glue dot on the sealed end, and I'm just going to layer this kind of off to the side of that pecan pie sprig. Okay, now I've got my shaded spruce elements here. I just think these are fun. Alright, so I'm going to put one up like that. I'm going to put another one here along the other side of my ribbon. So I've kind of got this flourish there, right? Then I'm going to bring in dimensionals. And one reason I suggest dimensionals is because your sentiment's going to overlap with the opening of the card. And if you put it on the back, if you put adhesive on the back and push it down, it might get on the inside. So instead, I'm going to put one dimensional right there on the edge. Okay, and then I'm going to flip this over and put it on the start of my sentiment. Then I just have to overlap. I don't have to guess on where my adhesive is on the back. So just like that. Okay, so then, I haven't done this in a while, but I always used to say no naked envelopes. So we're going to add this little embellishment to the front of our card. I'm going to put it on both corners. And I'm going to do that on the inside too. Kind of a repeating pattern for this project. And there we go. So let me know what you guys think. Always leave me comments. I'd love to hear what you think of the projects and if you'll try them. And if you have any questions, please go ahead and email me directly. My email is down below. Remember, you can visit my website, pumpkinhillstampers.com, or join my newsletter. You're welcome to all of that. Alright guys, if you need any help placing an order, you know where to find me, and I would be very happy to be your demonstrator in getting you your supplies. So, that's it for today. Do some fun stamping, and I'll see you again real soon. Take care. Bye-bye.